Hey folks, it's Johnny Flynn, and I'm as busy as a person can be. But people are complaining. Oh, Johnny, you're just complaining. Well, today marks the first day. The campaign's over in a year for U.S. Senate, but today is the first day of me giving you solutions to problems we've been bitching about. So, take a look at this sign. Facts matter. Vote row A. This is an illegal sign. This one was in the road. I straightened it out. Been run over about 30 times. So rather than running it over, I picked it up. It was never approved of on the person's property, therefore illegal. So, what I want to say is, row A, Democratic Party, has no facts. Look at Antifa, anti-fascism. Look at BLM. Black Lives Matter, but BLM is a terrorist organization that was bribed by our chief state's attorney by executive order of our governor. So, when you look at the facts are totally disturbing, and I want to bring a few things up on the screen. Take a look. We have solutions to the judicial misconduct problem. This is a partner of mine, Andrew Pritchard. See that? Amended counterclaim on bank fraud and theft of property. They tried to steal his property by illegal activity. I went to the clerk's office of Stamford today, and the clerk knows all about this case. Of course, because she is colluding. Megan McCaffery. Hi, Megan. I laid down a document today that should really change our position statewide for pro se litigators who can't get a subpoena, can't get discovery. While this is your constitutional right in the Constitution state. So when you look at various things that happened in America hundreds of years ago, Connecticut thought they were screwing everyone when they were writing the laws, but they built in protections for themselves that we can use right now that would blow your mind if you knew what they were. So, I'm very happy to report that from today on, we are going to fix Connecticut's judicial system and prosecutorial misconduct. Yesterday, we reported on our first answer to over 30 civilian complaints placed at different police offices across Connecticut. They found Kennedy from Stamford guilty of the charge. That doesn't stop the ones that we have pending in Norwalk. In Norwalk, we claimed Harry Rilling is running a check fraud ring, cashing stolen checks of Republicans and conservatives. Meanwhile, if you knew that he jointly owns the property that his daughter, who runs a daycare facility, had an accidental death because she was on the telephone, that makes Harry Rilling liable for the death of the child at the daycare center, and he's certainly liable for his son, who stole all the heroin from the Fairfield Police Department. How do we know? Non-criminal prosecution. Non-criminal prosecution. Here we go. I have a file on Harry Rilling that would choke a horse. And he's claiming, he's given instructions to his detective bureau through Kaholic. We filed a motion today We're going to name multiple judges as defendants in lawsuits. I've tried to sue them individually, which was dismissed, but now that this back door is open through the Pritchard case, we're going to jump right through it. So, if Johnny Flynn becomes U.S. Senator, I will clean up the judiciary in Connecticut. That is a promise I'm willing to make because I know how to do it. No one else running could possibly do it. And everyone in the state that has an affidavit of judicial misconduct should send it to me immediately so I can process it along with the state. Now, for example, let me give an example. Judge Fedora in Middlesex, Connecticut, had a woman driving from Kentucky to Maine through Connecticut and stopped at the Middlesex hospital because she wasn't feeling well. Those doctors stole that baby and gave it to the court clerk judge through DCF. Now, what's the problem with that? First of all, she was a mother. She had 2 other kids who are fine and dandy, and they sedated her against her will, took a child from her womb. And Megan McCaffery is oblivious, the court clerk in Connecticut, about the 500,000 felonies I have filed cases for, which were dismissed. So I have a room full of documents that were submitted 10 times to the court, stamped by the court 10 times. And Pritchard, who's the author of this document, let's put it on. Let's go to it. He's assuming Tierney, Randolph, and many other judges who haven't read the motions he's filed. Here's the counterclaim. Take a look at it. It's gigantic. He's assuming that the judges violated the Fair Collection Practicing Act, racketeering, RICO. The documents of mortgage fraud were filed with the city of Norwalk town clerk, making them complicit. And just about every town, like Bridgeport, who has a judge named Spader, these are all the laws he's saying are he's asking for 79 million, folks. Because the judges who committed administrative fraud, Gary Williams, United States Attorney, District of Connecticut, New Haven, McCaffery, Liebert, Pierce, Hartford, William Lasco, Stamford. This is the service he provided. He's accusing, if you look at the judges in the case, you got to look this case up and read it. He's accusing these judges of bank fraud and theft of property. He lives at 9 Sylvester Court, Norwalk. This is a friend of a friend who's looking for support and similar documents. He's telling me Judge Gennario of Norwalk is the nephew of William Gennario. William Gennario is the Connecticut priest who bribed many parents in the Catholic Church for pedophilia. He's claiming the judge's uncle was the pedophile. He's claiming that Gennario, as a favor of covering up pedophilia, became a judge. He's claiming his best friend is covering up murder, murder for hire, Bernie Madoff money laundering, and a lot of other things. So when I complain, it's because I'm working towards a goal that is known, and I'm gathering partners. I met multiple people now who all claim the same thing. People are saying there's corrupt judges in every district of Connecticut. We're collecting all the data and we're going to name them all in the same suit. So, that's part of our plan to win the U.S. Senate seat in Connecticut, fixing the judiciary. So there will be no more discussion about Johnny being a loud gong clanging, not having given you information about what we're trying to do inside the state. So when you see what's coming up about the Blumenthal lawsuit, you will understand completely it's our cigarette moment. Now he's going after Facebook, right? You saw it. And TikTok and Instagram, claiming that it targeted girls that had self-esteem issues and blah, blah, blah. However, if you look at Twitter, Al-Qaeda has pages. If you look at the attacks on the conservatives through Facebook, Twitter, and every other means of social media, look at various discussions by the Republican Party through cross-examination on the Senate floor talking about TikTok sharing biological information on Americans with their parent company, who has a board member of the CCP on its board. So they're giving biometric youth data in an algorithm to target your kids from China, and Blumenthal has no problem with that, okay? So Blumenthal has a problem with picking on kids, though when he was 32, he met his 16-year-old wife, and he targeted her. Why? She owned the Empire State Building, and he wanted it. So what happened? Who owned the Gateway Financial Plaza? Who owned the World Trade Center? Who owns the Chinese investments in TV, radio, and 2 malls next to Shanghai Disney? Richard Blumenthal, through his brother-in-law, who is married to who? Look at the data, folks. I'm not saying that as Americans we should be selling out our technologies to the Chinese. I'm saying we shouldn't allow Chinese corporations that provide propaganda, such as TikTok, selling data on Americans to proliferate. Look at the Iran deal, written by Richard Blumenthal, paying terrorists in the hopes they don't blow us up. Look at the Green New Deal, written by Richard Blumenthal. Look at the late-term abortion bill, written by Richard Blumenthal, with extreme language. What I'm saying, folks, is a vote for Richard Blumenthal is a vote for late-term abortion. Okay, the destruction of our oil dependency possibility. So we rely on China destroying the environment, India, places like Iraq, Iran, Sudan, all with problems that Chris Murphy is supposed to be handling. But no, that's not happening. He's on a walkabout. We have a Biden president elected through fraud. And what are our senators saying? Oh, Trump colluded with the Russians. Look at Jim Himes. Comey blames Himes for false information that Trump colluded with the Russians, when in fact it was Hillary and Bill who, through Rostec, extorted America with K container ships. And right now, there's 100 container ships off California They are checking them for A, children that have been human trafficked. Those boats are sitting out in the ocean. Those kids are dying. And B, they're looking for ICBM capability for the K container ship of the Abraj Group who bribed Bill Clinton while Secretary Clinton, Hillary, was Secretary of State, and Brennan, Comey, and others. Look at the Rosenstein information. Look at the Clapper information. Folks, we have multiple people committing treason for the Democratic Party and even Republicans. Rosenstein, Comey are Republicans. Folks, they were bought by Diallo. Diallo bought Comey, $14 million. What would I do for $14 million? I would never betray my country. So let's look at the facts. Let's get with the program. And I appreciate what everyone's doing, but I have one request. One, send me any affidavit you can write about judicial misconduct in Connecticut, and we will put thousands of them on the record in one case, and we will ask for $100 million. We're up to $79 million already. I haven't included the $47 million case. We're at $150 million, and that's not triple damages. That's just one times. Punitive damages could be much higher, and we need to go after the sanctuary states, the clerks. Ryan Flannigan is named in this court case I showed you. I submitted the same cases more than 10 times. They're stamped by the court. Discovery was obstructed, and I have rights as a Connecticut citizen, an American citizen, to due process. So the case that was just dismissed was a Bob Duff fire tree case. Bob Duff just called me on a robocall saying, oh, have a safe Halloween, Don't meet in large groups, distance, mask. Of course you have a mask on Halloween, but please, Bob Duff, don't call me. You are horrendous. The bribes you've taken to ruin us and 5G alone is astonishing. So I'm at 18 minutes. Hope you enjoyed this. Follow, please. I learned today two excellent things. Megan McCaffery at the Stamford Superior Court follows this YouTube page. And B, you ready? She's part of the collusion of the case filed by Pritchard, which I just showed you. He named Ryan Flannigan as a defendant. Now Megan McCaffery is a defendant. Why? I can't help you. I can't give you legal advice. I can not process what you hand me all day long. Have a great day. I'm very happy. Small victory today, leading up to a large one later. So please send us $10. We have a very large group of people collecting affidavits on judicial misconduct. That's the only way we're going to fix Connecticut, is if the judges involved, like Gennario, whose uncle was pedophile, William Gennario, uncle of Judge Robert Gennario, I am told, and I looked on the internet, I confirmed it, was the priest in the Catholic Church that paid many, many bribes to Catholic parents after their children were diddled about by Catholic priests. So, that's what they have on Judge Gennario. That's what they have on Judge Gennario, forcing him to follow a certain dismissal policy of every case. I sued Denise Merrill in August 2020. I sent it in 6 times. I have a right to file also have what's called a fee waiver right. When the Democrats targeted me to ruin me financially, they gave me that right to file a court case due to hardship. I am worth less than anyone else in the state of Connecticut. That's why I should be the next U.S. Senator. And thank you very much. 20 minutes. Alan says you're going to start watching, and just in case you're listening, his alias is Just In Case.